Welcome back, everyone. It's lovely to have you here again. We, Mike's on. What's that today? We hope you had a good lunch break. We're excited to continue with session 4, Youth at Catalyst of Knowledge and Sustainability in the GCC. In this session, we'll explore the vital role young people play in shaping the future of our region. Let's get started, and I'm pleased to welcome Bandar Al-Shahran, Governance Program Officer from the UNDP.
Assalamu alaikum jami'an. Smoni? Sound perfect.
What about
Hello
us?
everyone. It's nice to be here today. My name is Bandar Sharhan from UNDP Kuwait's country office. I am a governance and youth program officer, and here with me are some of Kuwait's youth to discuss today's session. So this will be a very dialogue-driven session, discussing a bunch of topics and having a bunch of questions, and we'll just get started now. So we will begin the session by asking each of the participants to tell us a little bit about themselves, as well as to discuss their projects that they worked on, and we'll just get started now. So we have with me Dalal Saif. If you could
يعطيك
just start.
العافية بندر. معكم دلال السيف وأنا طالبة في جامعة الكويت.
Yeah, I am Dalal Saif. I'm a student in University of Kuwait. I'm going to talk about a project for the development of education through a smart platform where it brings together the university books. This platform is conserving the environment and sustainability, and this platform support the and equip the student to be ready for the job market and to have training on the job.
Engineer, currently pursuing my master's in construction project management. My research focuses on social sustainability within the built environment. I had the opportunity to participate in the Knowledge Journey Kuwait, an initiative dedicated on 1, empowering the youth, and 2, advancing Kuwait's position in the Global Knowledge Index. As a part of this program, I presented my project called Greening Kuwait, one neighborhood at a time. It's a simple project focusing on how can we make Kuwait neighborhoods more cooler, greener, and more connected. So by creating neighborhoods at the aim of my project was to make compost. So instead of throwing our food away, we'd use this compost to create neighborhood composting centers. And this will make waste a useful resource first, and also it's to make people connected together. So each neighborhood would have a shared responsibility to maintain these trees. And lastly, it aligns with Kuwait Vision 2035, especially in the goals of sustainable living environment, 1, and 2, creating environmentally aware and skilled youth.
Greetings, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Ahmed Salmin. So, as you can tell, that we all have been participating in the Knowledge Week program. So, my project comes from a background in sustainability. So, basically, we all agree here that we need to diversify the economy. We all know that the diversified economy, also has to be sustainable. And from someone with a background in sustainability and architectural, so our program or the project that we've been working on is how the sustainability practices and policies has to be mandated in region where it is only a volunteering work. So by mandating some of the policies, we are not just forcing people to create some buildings, let's say sustainable, but on the other hand, we are actually creating different economies. For instance, if we have the mandated sustainable construction, we are creating a new job opportunities. We are actually making more materials production that has to be environmental friendly. And lastly, which is in regards of the sustainability as not as a checklist. So some region and some authorities are considering sustainability as a checklist. However, by mandating so, we are actually creating a more sustainable community and sustainable countries as well.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أنا شريك المهندسة ريناد.
I am a partner. I am a student in political science. The project that we are working on is a solution to the biggest issues in the Middle East, which is the increasing temperature in summer, and we are trying to find a natural solution with the assistance of the nature through forestation and through plantation. And also we have a siege of trees around the city, and this would protect the city from the gusting winds and the dusty winds, and it would absorb the toxic gases such as CO2, and it would produce the oxygen. And the frustration or to have planted the trees, we are proposing in this project, we have a device called compost, and this device, it works. We are going to put in it the expired foods, and it will produce organic fertilizers, and these fertilizers are very useful to the soil in the Middle East region. And this program or this project, we have proposed it to the the Council of Planning in Kuwait and the Ministry of Youth, and we are going to witness its achievements in the future.
So we will begin today with the first question towards Dalal. Dalal, please let me know. In a region rapidly diversifying its economy and investing in innovation, what do we mean, or what do you think we mean when we say that youth are the catalysts for knowledge and sustainability today?
يعطيك العافية أخوي بندر. أنا اليوم أبي أقول لكم شغلة، إن عندما إحنا نقول إن عندنا الشباب كمحفز بالطاقة الاستدامة، شنو أنا أقصد؟
So when I talk about youth and sustainability, that means it is renewable power. We have the youth. Annually, monthly, we are producing a new generation, more developed, more advanced, that doesn't know the impossible, a power for change, the renewable balance, passion, and promoting investment for youth, which is different from the investment and budgeting. When I have a conscious, aware, full rounded generation, this means I have invested in the future, established well and on the right path. Thank you. The second question is to Ahmed.
National vision. How do you see young people contributing to making these visions their actual reality? And following that, what do you think there needs to be more of in order to achieve these visions and to ultimately achieve all of, for example, Kuwait's Vision 2035 and all of the GCC Vision 20s?
Sure, thank you for the question. So I just want to add one, I want to build on what Dalal just mentioned about the youth has non-renewable power, which is indeed, we all agree that who is driving most of the initiatives, whether it's in regard to sustainability or not, you will see youth are behind of this initiatives. So youth are actually indeed, they are the power that is moving nations and moving countries. So from my background and my experience, I saw that the work that the youth are doing is actually, as we say, they are breaking the glass and breaking the traditional mindset that we have. So they are challenges. They are challenging the old framework that we've been working on. So, but on the other hand, to me, I still feel that there is some infrastructure that is needed to be done for youth. For instance, to me, youth needs to be heard. As I was earlier saying to one of my colleagues, that sometimes when it's linked to policies, youth are struggling to be heard and listened. So one of the things that I feel must be done is to have a space that is inclusive for youth, that are they can be seen, heard, as well as an opportunities to link it with the policymakers or whoever is writing the visions, where they can validate, they can share their opinions. Because at the end of the day, as we say, that in the future the youth will be leading, but they need to be heard from this moment. So yes, they are taking the visions into realities, but on the other hand, they need still to be heard and listened.
Thank you so much, Ahmed.
No
I
worries.
completely agree with you. The youth, especially thankfully for me, I've been working with youth specifically for the past year, and I've noticed that we can give them more responsibility to ultimately do better things, and I think I've seen it firsthand with you guys right now. So the next, moving along to the next question, this will be towards Rinad. So, Rinad, how can international organizations and specific agencies, for example, like UNDP, support governments in terms of youth and supporting youth themselves in closing the gaps that we're talking about today?
One important way I believe international organizations like the UNDP can help support the youth is by one, skill development, and two, training programs. For example, working with the governments can help support the youth be ready for the future skills needed. And these skills are very crucial in this economy. I believe specific skills like digital literacy, green skills, leaderships are all very important skills we need to learn for the youth. And another important thing is another key area is supporting national youth strategies. So, for example, like with the UNDP, the Knowledge Journey, um, the United Nations Development Program help design and update national youth strategies. These can help align with national visions and development goals. I feel like these are two very important points organizations can help support the youth.
Thank you. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Abdulaziz, this question is for you. If you could leave today's policymakers with the one message and about the role that they will have in shaping the future of sustainability and knowledge in the GCC, what would this message be? And tell us in your own words what you think, please.
So the policy makers في نوعين من البوليسي ميكرز. في النوع الأول اللي
There are two kinds of policy makers. One who tried to maintain and keep sitting on his chair without listening to the youth. And he thinks that by doing this, that will protect his survival in his position. But in reality, he is destroying the society because he is not exploiting and harnessing the power of the youth. Also, the other type of policymakers that are forward thinking, creative, trying to find any opportunity, any chance, any talent, and capability to think out of the box, be productive, and employ them for the sake of sustainable development and growth, which will not happen by one hand. It needs the synergy of all efforts and collaboration by all society groups. Thank you.
الحين نرجع حق أحمد. أحمد
Sure.
أنت كموظف بالقطاع الخاص you work in the private sector correct
Yeah.
so in your opinion how can the private sector better engage with youth to co-create these sustainable solutions that we would all like to see today and just a little bonus touch if you could discuss also how can the private sector for example in Kuwait also work with the government and because the relationship between the government and private sector is very important, and we can always exchange experiences within them. Correct? So, please.
It's a really good two questions.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So the first part of it, yes, I do have experience in the private sector, and to me, in such countries or in most of the countries, the private sector is actually one of the driving force to any country. Most of the new advanced technologies, most of the new innovations, technologies, etc., are being found by private sector. I'm not blaming the governmental sector, but what I'm saying is that because of the framework that allows the private sector to be resilient, I would say, to all the adaptive changes, it's easier to happen in the private sector. Now, how private sector is actually helping youth, as I said, I've been working in the private sector for the last 5 years, and from my experience, I would summarize them into two points. The first one is by offering the youth some internship programs, because getting the knowledge and real examples and working on a real project, it's not very easy to be found in the governmental sector. So offering them some internship programs where they can actually go and work on real case project and checking how the world is going and moving forward, it's very important. The second one is allowing them to make some mistakes. So when I started back then working in the company in Seeds, so I did a lot of mistakes, but my managers actually didn't come and tell me that you did this mistake, it's on you. No, actually they were like, okay, what did you learn? I learned this. I learned that I'm not gonna email this person without saying engineer. I would have to address them properly. So I learned, which was like 5 years ago, by the way. I'm addressing everyone engineer now. So giving them the space to actually make mistake and learn from them, it's very important. Now, in regards to the relationship, which is the last question you asked about the government and private sector, unfortunately, in our region, sometimes we see it as a challenge and a competition between who is doing which and who is doing that. We are hoping for more collaboration in between the government and private sector. There is some collaboration is happening, but we, as youth, as me personally, I'm looking for more collaboration between private sector and the government. So,
Thank you very much.
no worries.
Yeah, I would say that the GCC region, the Arab region, most of our populations are very young, and I think this is avenue for a lot of things to change, and I think it's an avenue for new ideas to come about. And I think a lot of our governments, especially thankfully, have been recently taking this initiative by listening more to the youth within the GCC as well as the Arab region and taking new, fresh
I
ideas.
just want to add one thing.
go ahead.
I'm witnessing some governmental improvement. I'm not saying that
Yes,
they
of course.
still.
Yeah.
So there is. I can give credit. So as someone in sustainability field, I'm seeing and witnessing some improvement in all the aspects. But as someone who is frustrated about the future and with the climate change and climate crisis and all of that, I want to see more to happen. But yeah, I just wanted to add things. So there is improvement in the governmental
Yes,
sector.
of course, of course. Okay, let's transition. Uh, Dalal, please, if you could give one message to the GCC youth and youth in the Arab region today, especially those that are aspiring to lead in, for example, in sustainability and knowledge and innovation. What do you think you would give like as a message to them?
يعطيك العافية أخوي بندر.
My message to the GCC youth: we are in a very innovative region. We are very special. So be aware that a change is starting from you. Be passionate. Please uh, be proactive and believe that you are the one to make the change to a reality that is convenient to you apart from frustration, but you need to believe that you are making the a change in each GCC country. They have it's a special vision, and where you have something dedicated to the youth, and they have department or entity that is dedicated to the youth. As you can see, all of us are youth. There is support from our state. Please believe that passionate is coming from your inside, and you are the power to change to the better situation and to make a change. Abdelaziz, this question for you.
The GCC states accelerate the youth-driven sustainability initiatives, the knowledge sharing, as well as just the cooperation among the GCC countries.
أعتقد أن
I think that the Knowledge Summit today is the answer to your question, because in this summit we are bringing together all the nationalities and countries. This is the result of the cooperation. I came from Kuwait, where I proposed a project about compost and frustration. And now I will go back to Kuwait with takeaways, and I will have many models, and including artificial intelligence. And I'm very impressed, and I feel very proud that I am from the GCC region. If United Arab Emirates is doing such progress and advancement, I can feel proud in front of the European countries. So, a cooperation is the secret of success. The European Union now in the European region. Uh, it has been developed because of the cooperation, and we can have cooperation under one umbrella. This would help so much to unite our effort and to have a joint effort. And that's all. Thank you. Thank you, Abdelaziz. Would you like to add anything? The last question to wrap up. My question will be to Renad. Renad?
Where the SDGs are trying to be met, as well as beyond, where most of the visions of the GCC countries want to be achieved. Would what, in your opinion, would success look like for specifically the youth within the region, as for in terms of catalysts of knowledge and sustainability and innovation, but specifically, please focus on just the Gulf region today. Thank you.
First, success would mean the fully integration of youth in the regional and national development process. For example, we can set up youth councils in government ministries. This would help in one, being able to share our ideas as a youth, and two, be able to help shape policies. This would be very crucial in terms of sharing ideas and help shaping policies. Second, we envision thriving economies which are powered by youth. For example, youth-led startups, research projects, all are success. All will be success in thriving knowledge economies and diversified knowledge economies. Also, universities, innovation hubs will, I believe, success can be met if we are globally being able to compete with other nations. I think that would be a clear sign that success is met within the GCC.
Thank you, Renad. Does anyone want to add any final thoughts for our last question, or in general, before we look to the panel for the floor for discussion?
I just want to conclude my talk with one important message. So, as my colleagues here all day, and from the title of the panel, we all believe that youth are actually driving the future. Um, and as I said earlier, that we as youth need to be heard. And when it comes to my specialities in regards to sustainability, I've always trying to change one message because most of people out there, hopefully not here, they think that sustainability is a luxury. But sustainability isn't a luxury. So we actually need to live in a sustainable and a healthy spaces, and I believe all of us we would need to do that. But by not creating a proper policy and a proper code that we actually can build and have for the future, this is not going to be changed. Most of people out there, unfortunately, they thought that this is just a luxury element that is need to be ticked as a checklist. But we don't need that. We need to change it. So I just want to close with that sustainability is not a luxury, but it's a mandated for all of us to live. So thank you, Bender.
شكرا يعطيك العافية.
إذا
تبي تضيف
اي والله يا ليت تسمح لي.
تفضل.
انا عندي نصيحة.
I have an advice to the parents, to the mothers and the fathers. Please encourage and motivate your children for development. Life is not about just a job and retirement, and so the community wouldn't be developed and the government wouldn't be developed if we are using traditional thinking and if we did not think out of the box. So teach your children to have more knowledge and general knowledge and to gain more skills. And I would like to thank you for this great meeting, and I'm so happy that I know people and I learned things that would be useful to my country, and thank you for everything. Now we are going to receive questions from the audience. Please, if you have questions, please.
If not a question, it's probably something that we can also add and learn from what we just talk. It's fine.
Yeah, we could, as well as we could also discuss the knowledge journey that we went through in Kuwait, and if anybody would like to just talk about that real quick. No, if there's
I think was a very insightful journey. I learned a lot of important skills, and there was very lots of workshops that helped us communicate with stakeholders, policymakers, industry, experienced industry people, and it was a very insightful journey for all of us. I believe we got to experience different people in different industries. We connected with people, so I think we all, I would say, gained a lot of experience from it.
بالنسبة لي صراحة
For me, for knowledge journey in Kuwait, there are three stations in which we developed our ideas in a different format and motivate us or incentivize us for more research. For this reason, this knowledge journey gave us or opened new horizons for us and merged, integrated more with government authorities, youth council, and other entities. So the journey, particularly for me, was really special, purposeful, and that's why we are here today. And really, I thank here all those who were in charge and supported the program, Stephanie, Bender, and all the other colleagues. Thank you, Dalal, and thanks for everyone here because you also contributed to. And we also, despite that we learned and had fun, now we can present better output for our country, Kuwait, and other GCC states.
And thank you very much for an insightful.
If you could,
إذا ممكن أحد يجيب لنا سماعات على أساس نسمع.
if you could just please raise your voice. تعلين صوت. إيه نعم إيه نعم. Yes.
Good afternoon and thank you very much. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
For an insightful conversation that you have. My question is about around the relationship that you talked between government and the private sector. You said or you indicated that there should be more collaboration between private sector and government. My question to you is, in your view, what do you think should that collaboration entails apart from what is already there? Thank you.
Thank you. I will begin. I could just add a few comments before anyone would like to talk. So, since I finished my master's a few years ago and since I started working, I always hear that the private sector is always leading and the government sector in many places, not just, for example, Kuwait, it's not, but the private sector has a huge technological advancements, for example, and the knowledge sharing specifically, which is what I think and we should support between the private sector and the government sector within Kuwait. The knowledge sharing and the skills sharing ends up helping both sides, and in Kuwait, I think this is very much needed, especially because we have a smaller private sector, but a hard-working one, I would say. And this is one of the main things that I think should happen. And if anyone else would like to add upon that, I know Ahmed, I think, has a few comments.
So I'm just gonna rephrase because I didn't hear your question. So if I say the question correctly, just nod your head. So the question that you were saying is that there is an existing collaboration between the private and a government sector. And when we were saying that we need to see more collaboration between those two sectors, what can be done? Was the question. So yes, so a lot can be done. So for instance, I'm gonna share a real example. It's the when a private sector or someone in the private sector want to get some exposure. Normally, getting the exposure from a governmental entity it's not. I'm not gonna say it's better, but it's gonna have more highlight when it goes to just a private sector trying to outshine out there. So having the exposure and the marketing opportunity sometimes for the private sector can be challenging because it does not affect or have one governmental entity. It's like a collaboration. It's like a spider web that if you want to approach this, you'd have to go to that, to that, to that, to that. Having all these procedures and the steps can sometimes be very challenging. What we are looking for or keen to see is actually to have a better communication between the private and the governmental. So this is the only thing that I wanted to add on.
Yeah, Ahmed, just to add quickly, for example, one of the biggest recent initiatives I would say that I saw a few weeks ago within Kuwait was the one of Kuwait's largest banks collaborated with I think the Ministry of Interior to build a rehabilitation center that was once like very old and then fully restored and now working to where that the private sector was the one who supported him building it, and then the government sector is still helping with the implementation of everything. So there's many different creative ways that we can take and approaches that we can take, and I think it just depends on the shared vision, which is I think already there. So yeah, anyone else would like to say anything? If we have any other questions, also. Okay.
طبعا
السلام عليكم.
شكرا لهاي الجلسة الجميلة. تمام صوتي؟
إذا تقدر بس تعلي صوتك عشان أنا أقدر. إيه تمام تمام مشكور.
بس الأهل إنه يشجعون
Parents should encourage their kids about tech knowledge and to be savvy. My question is how to create a youth generation capable instead of using and consuming knowledge to be a creator of knowledge. That is my question. How to transform our youth from consumers to creators of knowledge, and what kind of collaboration should be or policies should be adopted? Very nice question. Here we have to talk about the tool, how to make this generation tech savvy and policy creators, content creators, knowledge creators. The tool could be done and provided by the state itself. International organizations, national organizations can play a big role. And the innovation engineer Renad and I submitted. I worked on that model. Let me give you the timeline for this. We are in Knowledge Journey 2, organized by United Nations Office in Kuwait. Through this, I know that Coursera courses provide the needed knowledge for my project. And they have a booth here. Coursera provides some courses, and I took 3 or 4 courses, which one of them is creative thinking and brainstorming. That was from or presented from Harvard or Stanford School. This course, I knew how to use or start creative thinking, which comes either by resolve a problem or to achieve better prosperity and well-being. What I thought of then, in knowledge journey number 3, I used my knowledge from these courses and I asked myself, should I resolve a problem or add to the prosperity? We have, for example, that was dealing with or alleviating the heat increase in Kuwait. From my researches and studies, I knew that the state of or the green state. My colleague Dalal, in some of schools in some areas or districts in Kuwait, they had a compost device, and that garden was full of green plants, and the temperature difference between my car and that park was around 9 or 10 degrees. So the question that presented itself, what about afforestation and planting more trees around the whole state? But what is the most important element is the intention, the will to change and develop or to grow in by yourself, in yourself and in your country. I hope that answered your question. If any more questions. Okay, by this we conclude. I want to thank UN Development Program, Mohammed bin Rashid Foundation, our colleagues from Planning and Development Council in Kuwait for this session, and for the speakers and for everything you did here for us. Thank you.